I want to shoot this quick video on a Haier beer dispenser Kegerator. I don't know if you can see the model there. Anyway, it's model HBF05EBSS-01. Having problems cooling. Happened was I thought maybe the temperature control was bad on it. So what I did was I jumped the temperature control. What you do is take off the cover. There's going to be 3 wires there, a green wire for ground, a black and a white. Basically disconnect the black and the white, you jump them. That just runs power direct, so it won't shut down. I got the compressor to start running, but it would unexpectedly shut down. So I was thinking maybe it was something to do with the circuitry. Primarily what's called an overload circuit. This thing's got a what's called an overload and a PTC instead of a start relay. So what I did was disconnected all the electrical components from it, and you got basically 3 pins on a compressor, top pin, left and a right pin, and I wanted to make sure the compressor was operating, so I ohmed it out, made sure there wasn't a short in it. There's videos on how to do that, and tested the power coming out of each pin by running power through it or with the ohm meter, voltmeter, and found out that the compressor was fine. So I thought by replacing all the electrical components it would eliminate my problem. I bought what's called a 3-in-1 hot start. This thing costs $12. This is an 1/8 inch compressor. It cost me $12. If I would have bought the capacitor, the PTC, and the overload separately, it would have been probably over $100, you know, for OEM products, and I was having trouble finding OEM products. So I just bought the 3-in-1, plugged it in. The compressor ran for a while, then shut down, and it got extremely hot. So we found out that wasn't our problem. So last but least, I said, well, maybe it might be low on Freon. Couldn't believe that it might be low on Freon, so I bought what's called a saddle piercing valve right here. You can see it. It basically clamps onto the fill port. These fill ports are crimped off at the factory, so there's no fill port on it. So you have to make your own. And then I adapted a automotive 134A adapter here for the low side. I made sure that there was still some Freon in there by pressing the valve, and you hear it hissing, so that means there was still a charge. It just wasn't enough to cool the refrigerator. If it would have been completely empty, we would have had to evacuate the system, put a vacuum on, and get all the moisture out of it, but that was gladly not the case. I've got HVAC gauges, monitor the low and high side, hooked up the low side. I ran Freon in it. They want you to run here, it says on the plate here, low pressure side 103 psi, which is crazy. I couldn't get it at that high, and there's only 2.1 ounces of Freon in it. I have no way of measuring what's in there, what's not in there, so what I did was I just adjusted the pressure on the low side to where I could get it to cool, and optimally I was able to get it to cool about 7 to 8 psi, and it was running great. It cools great. I did a tower cooler conversion up here, which I'll show you in a minute, but I wired everything back up. I hooked up a new electric controller. This is a A419 Johnson controller. It's working great right now. I got it set at about, I don't know if you can see, 35 degrees, and it seemed to be working just fine. Right here, if you can see, I added an outlet with a DC adapter running through the back into the factory entrance where the old temperature controller entered, and I'll show you what I did that for. That's wired into the actual controller, and if you can see here, I added a two fan, the fan here in this box, in this Radio Shack electronic box, and a fan back here, the computer fans, and one is pumping cold air into the tower, and that's supposed to eliminate foaming. I've got them switched to the controller so it comes on when the temperature raises. I might have to put it direct because it hasn't totally eliminated my cooling, my foaming problems. But right here, if you see the sensor for the temperature controller, I got it immersed in water, and the reason I did that was to get a less fluctuating temperature and to get it to run a little better. If when it's in the water, the temperature will drop slowly and it'll raise slowly, so you get a better cooling aspect and better readings as to what your beer is going to be really chilled down to. So it's working pretty well now. I still get a little bit of foaming there, you see, but it's nice and ice cold. So hope this helps any of you guys having problems with these Haier refrigerators conking out on you. Do a few YouTube searches of how to ohm out a compressor and how to charge it with the HVAC gauges, and you shouldn't have a problem. Remember, 7 to 8 psi is optimal. At least that's what I was able to get this refrigerator going with. Thanks for watching.